Audio recording from January 10th, 2014.
Another thing from Brave. I was the relationship that the mother and daughter have is really interesting. Like it's like the family dynamic would be a intelligent, authoritative mother who married like an incompetent dad or like less competent dad. So she's kind of the one in charge, and then she basically plays these two roles where she's like she's the authoritative mother on one hand most of the time, and occasionally the daughter gets glimpses of the real side, the person that she's hiding, that she's not actually that person because she has to play the role of the queen or whatever. And that could be similar to something in real life where one of your parents plays a role and is always kind of like dictating things for you, and it's basically covering up their real self. It made me realize that sort of experience, while it would be annoying and stuff, and you have the struggle of this movie kind of, that experience also teaches you things. Like it makes me, like, when I come across stuff like this, it makes me realize I'm missing a level of reality that I was never exposed to, that can teach you a lot of things. And I'm having to do all this kind of like later in life now, which is kind of the point of the book too. Is like it's supposed to bring people forward, catch them up to speed, because there's a lot of people who are really smart who have had very varying experiences in their past, probably take for granted a lot of the lessons they learned when they were kids. It's weird to think how they learn a complex lesson when you're young. How do they interpret that, really? Like, they can't possibly interpret it at a very deep adult level, but they're still retaining the lesson and the data from it. So I wonder, like, people like that, they kind of intrinsically know these things. It's like woven into the fabric of their being. Whereas for me, it's an external lesson. It's not something that's woven in, it's something that I've consciously become aware of, but probably doesn't reside deeply within my being, which means I'm not able to call it as easily or recognize it as easily as they would. So I've kind of missed like levels of reality, and I'm adding them back into my life, but they're still different. They're still it's like knowledge based rather than experience based.
So just to add to this, basically the problem that I'm talking about is that I'm always trying to find out where I place in comparison with other people. And from my personal history, like, I feel I grew up relatively naive to the world, and a lot of the stuff that a lot of the insight that I've gained has been just in recent years. And I wonder what the difference is between someone who grew up as a child and they learned more complicated lessons than I might have learned. So I'm basically talking about like the upper echelons of intelligence, people who had parents who were really smart and taught them really complicated, maybe even abstract lessons throughout their life, and they learned them as a kid. But as a kid, they might have lacked the experience and other parts of intelligence to fully unravel them. So I often wonder, like, how aware of those lessons they really are. Are they built up and structured in a way where they operate with these lessons, like, lessons that are enlightening to a person? Do they operate with them, but they're not actually aware of them? Or are they so smart that they are aware of them and they operate with them just inherently? Like, I have to go out of my way to learn these things now as an adult and educate myself and enlighten myself. Can I ever reach the same level that they could reach? Or am I actually more aware of them because I didn't have it, now I do have it, and I can do the comparison? Whereas if you've always had it, you don't even know that you have it because that's always been your reality. I don't have an answer for that, but it is a question worth considering, I think. And it's one that I've asked many times because I seem to come across it a lot. But so yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Thanks for listening as always, and see you next time.